The night sky pulsed red and blue as police lights danced across my backyard. I stood by my pool in flip-flops, clutching a tub of premium duck feed, while 6 ducks splashed gleefully among watermelon floaties and inflatable flamingos. Across the patio, a woman in oversized sunglasses, gripping a clipboard like a weapon, jabbed her finger at me. "That man's running a biohazard," she shrieked. One cop, barely hiding a smirk, turned to me. "Sir, is it true you turned your pool into a duck pond?" That was the moment everything exploded, but to understand why my pool was full of ducks, we've got to rewind. 2 months earlier, I'd moved into my dream home. After years of scraping by, I'd finally bought a place that felt like Minea: big backyard, a detached garage, and a stunning custom pool with hand-laid tiles. It was my reward, my sanctuary. That first sunny Saturday, I was floating in the pool with my niece, Lily, her giggles echoing as she bobbed in her unicorn flow tie. Then came the dreaded click-saw of the gate. In stormed a stranger, floppy sun hat flouncing, phone in one hand, HOA rulebook in the other. "Excuse me," she barked. "Your VYOLADing community pool standards." I laughed, thinking it was a prank. "This is my pool, lady." Her face stayed stone cold. "It's HOA property, sir. You need approval." She strutted off, muttering about reports. The next morning, a white envelope was duct-taped to my mailbox. HOA violation. Unauthorized pool, active VY tie. Fine, $500. I stared, jaw dropped. I called the number voicemail. No callback. At the HOA meeting, I met her again. Susan Whitaker, acting president. The clubhouse was grim, with bad coffee and worse lighting. Susan cut me off as I explained. "Simple rule," she said, flashing a fake smile. "No recreational pool used without notification." She waved a VY said HOA manual, dated 3 weeks ago, approved in a closed vote. I'd never gotten a ballot. When I asked about appealing, she shrugged. "Write a letter. Swim again without approval. You'll be fined again." Lily wanted to swim that weekend. I had to tell her no. The bitterness sank in me. Dream pool. Useless. Things got worse. Susan started stalking my fence, snapping photos. Once, she leaned over and sneered, "Nice chairs. Hope you got furniture approval." 2 days later, another fine, due lot $250 for unauthorized poolside installations. I was losing it. I couldn't step into my yard without some new rule smacking me. Neighbors were sympathetic, but spineless. "Susan's always been like this," one said. "Lay low." I wasn't built for that. Then came the third fine, due law $500 for disturbance because I waved at the mailman. Total, due law $1,250. I emailed an appeal, citing unfairness and abuse of power. The reply? A PDF of legal jargon. The next morning, Susan smirked as she passed my unused pool. "Donate it," she said. "The community could use a waiting area." Something snapped. I wasn't letting her turn my life into a dictatorship. Then I remember my uncle's words when his HOA fined him for birdhouses. "They can't fine you for nature." That night, I dug into county ordinances and found a gem. Properties could maintain aquatic wildlife habitats if they met sanitation standards. No swimming? Fine. What if my pool wasn't a pool? I ordered floating plants, swapped chemicals for duck-safe treatments, built a wooden ramp, and hung a sign. Wildlife observation area. Do not disturb. I called a local bird sanctuary, and by week's end, 6 ducks waddled into my yard. I named them after Presidents Washington, Lincoln, you get it. The morning Susan saw them, she froze. "You are harboring animals in a recreational pool," she yelled. "It's not a pool," I grinned. "It's a wildlife refuge." She stormed off, screaming about animal control. That's when the cops showed up, and the VY Ral VY Deo began one where an officer asks, deadpan, "Sir, is it true you turned your pool into a duck pond?" while Susan rants in the background. But that was just the start. At 2:13 a.m., I saw Susan's shadow pacing across the street, flashlight and binoculars in hand. The ducks slept peacefully, one snoozing on a donut floatie. I sipped cocoa, grinning at the chaos I'd unleashed. By 9 a.m., a new letter arrived, hand-delivered, stamped urgent. Violation, water feature overload. My duck pond, was a modified recreational structure. Fine. $1,500. I had 10 days to remove the ducks or face legal action. The HOA claimed my pool was too pool-like to be a refuge. I called the county. The clerk sounded amused. They can cite you if the ducks are an attraction. You'd need certification. Susan upped the ante, installing a security camera aimed at my yard. She didn't hide it. I filed a complaint. The HOA called it environmental monitoring. Then came the rumors. Neighbors stopped while VYing. One said, "Heard you're starting a farm." Susan had spread lies about chickens, goats, even pigs. She printed flyers warning of unsanctioned wildlife breeding. I was being VY lanized. The worst blow? Lily. She begged to see President Lincoln, her favorite duck. Within 10 minutes of her arrival, Susan called the HOA emergency line, claiming youth trespassing on an unstable aquatic site. An inspector showed up. I kicked him out, but that night, an email banned minors from my property pending safety inspection. Lily's tears broke me. This wasn't about fines anymore. It was about Susan weaponizing rules to crush joy. I considered suing, but lawyers said it'd take months and thousands. I felt cornered, staring at my ducks, heads tucked under wings. Then the clerk's words echoed. Only if it's an attraction. What if it wasn't? I grabbed my phone and recorded a VY Deo. HOA fined me for using my pool, so I VY Ted ducks instead. I uploaded it, expecting a few laughs. By morning, it had 30,000 VYUs. By day 2, 200,000. Comments flooded Inutraged, cheering, sharing HOA nightmares. News blogs called me Duck Pool Guy. I'd punch back. But Susan didn't care about public opinion. She filed a health complaint, labeling my pond a vector-borne illness risk. Inspectors were coming in 3 days. I scrambled, cleaned, tested water, got a vague sanctuary letter. The inspectors toured, took notes, and left without a word. Susan strutted by, sipping from a thermos of pure spite. Hope they didn't mind the smell, she chirped. Then the HOA held an Union VY TED meeting, planning to sue me for defamation over my VY Deo. A cease and desist demanded I stop posting. I was fighting a system now, not just Susan. The rules bent to her will. I planned a small backyard event, Lily, friends, duck-themed cupcakes. Susan reported an unlicensed public gathering with livestock. A cop, embarrassed, shut it down. Lily sobbed. Why won't she leave us alone? I had no answer. Alone by the sagging flamingo floatai, I felt defeated. Then I spotted a tag on Susan's camera. A serial number. I snapped a photo and dug in. The camera was registered to her real estate business, a commercial model for public spaces. If she was using HOA power to boost her listings, I wasn't just a nuisance, I was a threat to her wallet. That was leverage. I called a lawyer friend. He saw a privacy violation and conflict of interest. I got the sanctuary to certify my pond as an observation site. I pitched a local eco-blogger an exclusive on HOA overreach. At the next HOA meeting, I wore a lapel mic and baited Susan. What about wildlife restrictions? I asked. She smirked. Any property attracting pest ducks, squirrels should be a nuisance. I fired back. Like your bird feeders and koi ponds? The room froze. I'm not filming you. I added, tapping my mic, you're filming me. Neighbors murmured. I installed a sign, protected wildlife zone. Surveillance is a crime. I emailed the HOA board everything fines, camera proof, Susan's real estate flyer, a legal memo. I CC'd the county and the blogger. By noon, the HOA chat was chaos. One member questioned Susan's authority. Another demanded why HOA funds paid for a camera. That evening, a notice hit every mailbox. Susan resigned. An audit was coming. I hosted a quiet duck party with Lily. No music, just laughter. Susan wasn't watching. 2 weeks later, the neighborhood thawed. Kids biked by. An elderly couple left duck cookies. But I wasn't done. Lily suggested a duck birthday party. I filed for a permitted Conservation Awareness Day with the sanctuary, eco-vendors, and a children's author. I set up a projector facing Susan's house. The banner read, Ducks Over Drama. By 10 a.m., neighbors, reporters, and even the county inspector Susan had sicked on me showed up. Lily read her ode to President Lincoln. Then I played the video Susan's own camera footage. Her yelling, stalking, crossing my property line. HOA clips where she bragged about controlling real estate. The crowd gasped. One clip showed her screaming at a duck. Disgusting feathered nuisance. I paused. This isn't about shame, I said. It's about control versus community. Applause erupted. The HOA promised to rewrite bylaws. Susan's camera vanished. Her house went up for sale, unsold, after a buyer asked about the duck sanctuary. A local environmental group offered a grant for a micro-wetland and educational kiosk. My backyard became a protected refuge. Every morning, as the ducks glided across the water, I smiled, knowing Susan was fuming. The ducks didn't just win. They changed everything. What do you think? Was I right to fight Susan's HOA tyranny with ducks? Or did I escalate too far? Should HOAs have this much power over private property? Drop a comment, hit like if you're Team Duck, and subscribe for more stories of sticking it to the system.